Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Jabbar, and I am in business. I run a company. My question specifically relates to one aspect of paradise. You've talked about the serenity, inhabitants of Jannah, but there are many Muslims who unfortunately have members of their own family or very dear friends who do not die in a state of Islam. So is their serenity, their happiness affected if this happens? Is there anything in the Quran and the Hadith that mention of those who have entered paradise but the members of their family or friends have not? Thank you.
Jazakallah khair for that question. The place known as Jannah is free of any grief or worries. There shall be no grieving in paradise at all. There shall be no regret. There shall be no remorse. There shall be no tinge of any desire that is unmet or unfulfilled. And this shall begin from the entering of Jannah. So it is possible that some people might have some regret and remorse on the day of judgment when they see others. It is possible, but not after the entering of Jannah. Because Jannah itself is Darus Salam, the place and abode of complete peace. And when the people of Jannah enter Darus Salam, Allah Azza wa Jal, who is As-Salam, will greet them with the greetings of Salam. Salamun qawlan min Rabbir Rahim. And when Allah sends His Salam upon the people of Jannah, then from that moment onward, no thorn shall prick them, no evil shall touch them, no remorse shall ever pass their heart. How can it when As-Salam has sent His Salam upon the people of Darus Salam?
Jazakallah khair, brother. At this time, I'd like to take a question from the sister section. If there are any questions from the sister section.
I'm asking this question for somebody else. So the question is, you said that there are beautiful women for men in paradise. Are there beautiful men for women?
MashaAllah, a very brave question from the sister. But in her braveness, she wrote the question and handed it over and didn't ask it herself. And this is a sign of modesty as well. Alhamdulillah, that's good. Modesty should not prevent you from seeking knowledge. So I think this is the ideal methodology, that you wanted to learn, but you didn't want to identify yourself, so you wrote the question down. Excellent. This is a very honest question, and it needs to be asked. Many of the people are confused. Why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about beautiful women for the men, and He does not talk about handsome men for the women? Will not the women also be blessed with a mate and spouse in Jannah? And the reason for this is that, generally speaking, it is not in the nature of women that these types of details be exposed and told. Look, even the sister did not want to be known and identified. And this is a sign of perfection, that the woman wants to be modest. These types of issues do not form public conversation. And so the Quran does not emphasize this point. It doesn't publicize it. But the reality is, as the Prophet ﷺ said, وَلَيْسَ فِي الْجَنَّةِ أَعْزَبْ. There is nobody in paradise who shall remain single. So if a sister was married to a person in this world, they shall be in Jannah eternally together, and that will be sufficient for her. She will not feel any jealousy. She will not feel any envy that the man has been blessed with other hur in Jannah. But if a sister were single and she did not marry, or she did not have a husband, or her husband, we seek Allah's refuge, was so bad he didn't make it to Jannah, she made it but he didn't make it, then Allah Azza wa Jal has indeed a creation for them as well. But in the perfection of the Quran, and to manifest the nature of men and the nature of women, Allah Azza wa Jal did not describe this creation as He described that given to the men. So the answer to your question in a brief response is yes. There are indeed creations that Allah has created for the women. Some ulama have said that they will be married to a person of this world. And others have said, no, there is another creation in Jannah. Whatever the case might be, our goal is to get to Jannah. Once we're there, we will be given everything in it as well. So don't worry, once you get to Jannah, you will have all that you desire, insha'Allah ta'ala.
Please state your name and occupation, sister.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aisha Zawahir. I'm pursuing my Islamic studies. I'm a freelance writer. I did my Islamic studies in the Madras University. I have a question regarding this women in Jannah. I have come across women scholars stating that this word does not refer to women actually. What do you have to say about this as an Islamic scholar?
The question states, as you know, that some of the people are saying that the word hur does not refer to a female companion in Jannah. And this is the belief of some of the, what we call the modernists or progressives, some of the people who are, to be honest, so embarrassed by their religion that they want to change it and they want to make it in a way that they think it will be acceptable in the West or in other places. This is a modern phenomenon. I do not know of any classical scholar of any of the groups of Islam, Sunni, Shia, Mu'tazila, Khariji, none of the classical scholars of Islam held this position or opinion. This is a completely new opinion, and it is being propagated by certain sectors in the Western world in particular, and they say al-hur al-'ain refers to a white, luscious grape. It is a fruit. This is what they say, al-hur al-'ain is a grape. It is not a female companion. And really, it is so easy to refute this concept simply by reading the descriptions of the hur al-'ain in Jannah. And I want you to read these descriptions, how Allah Azza wa Jal describes the hur al-'ain. Grapes are not described the way hur al-'ain are described, and I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. وَكَوَاعِبَ أَتْرَابًا and other things, no grape can be described the way that hur al-'ain. Another point being, Allah Azza wa Jal clearly says in the Quran about the hur al-'ain, لَمْ يَطْمِثْهُنَّ إِنسٌ قَبْلَهُمْ وَلَا جَانٌ. No human being or jinn has polluted them, meaning they are virgins. This is clear in the Quran. There's no such thing as a virgin grape or a widowed grape. Okay, so when you read the descriptions of the hur in the Quran, and especially in the Sunnah, there is no question whatsoever that it is referring to a female companion. Where they get this from, they get it from the fact that there is a word in another language called Syriac, where hur, if you mispronounce it and you add another mark to it, it becomes something like a grape in that language. And they say this is something from Syriac language. But if I speak to you in Urdu and you try to understand in English, that's a problem. The Quran is in Arabic, and for them to assume it is in the Syriac language, it's a problem. So the reality is this position has no scholarly or academic merit to it whatsoever.
Spread the word, oh man. Spread the word of Islam. Oh, fortune.